Hey, what's up guys? Working on the 2014 Ford Edge 3.7 liter V6. Going to show you really quick how to replace the transmission fluid. First thing you want to do is go ahead and pop your hood. Okay guys, so the way I prefer to do this is with the engine and transmission cool, because transmission fluid expands with heat. So when you're draining out warm transmission fluid, there's still some left in there, and then you're mixing in the cool transmission fluid with the warm stuff, so I feel like it doesn't give you the most accurate reading. So this is the way I prefer to do it. Some people do it the other way, but if I go ahead and start this now, let it load up here, and you can see our temperature, so we're cool. Now let's go ahead and go underneath the hood here. So then take a look under the hood here, and then if you look right underneath the air filter here, you got the transmission fill cap, and that's actually the dipstick as well. So luckily Ford still kept with the dipstick on this. So let's go ahead and check this with the engine cold here. So unscrew it, pull it out, and we'll go ahead and give it a wipe first. And then you can stick this back down in there. Make sure it goes all the way in until it kind of locks and the arrow is facing that way. Pull it back out, bring it out here. And if you take a look here, you can see there's fluid showing in the crosshairs here, even though the engine's cold, and it says right on here, check hot. So I don't know if somebody overfilled this from before, but really it shouldn't be reading. It should be at the bottom down here, because the transmission's cold. You can see it's still reading a little bit in the crosshairs there. So I think what I'm going to do, let me just recheck it one more time just to make sure. So yeah, you can see it's in the crosshairs there. So I think what I'll do is I'll measure how much I drain out of it, and then I'll start out with just a little less when I go to fill it. So I'll just kind of leave that out like that. Then you can go ahead and shut this off. So what you want to do next is crawl underneath the driver's side front here. This is going to be your transmission. And luckily you can leave the wheels on the ground. You don't have to jack it up. There's enough room to just crawl under here, slide a drain pan under here, and we'll go ahead and pull this drain plug here on the transmission. That's going to be an 11 millimeter. So go ahead and pull that out of there. So just like that. And then we'll go ahead and let this drain until it gets down to just a slow drip there. Okay guys, so I went ahead and let that drain for probably a good 7 to 10 minutes. So now let's go ahead and replace the drain plug. Well, first I'll go ahead and just kind of wipe up around here. And then what I'm going to do is take some of this Permatex thread sealant, just put a little bit around the threads of the drain plug here. So then go ahead and stick that up in there. Grab a wrench. Go ahead and tighten that up, get it nice and snug. You don't want to over tighten this. If you want to torque it, you can. You want to go to 80 inch-pounds, which I believe is like right around 7 foot-pounds. But just go ahead and get it snug. Kind of like that. And then this transmission does have a filter in it, but it's inside, it's internal, so you can't really change it out unless you split both of these cases in half. So all you can really do is just drain and refill on this. Okay guys, so what I'm going to do now is this is all that I drained out of it. So I got this empty oil jug here, goes up to 5 quarts. Hopefully it's not more than that. But I'm going to measure and see how much I pulled out of here We'll see what it goes up to, and then I'll kind of use that as a reference to when we go to refill. So like I said, I'll slowly pour this into here. Try not to spill any. Okay, so as you can see, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and that looks to be right about 5 quarts there. If I take one of these new jugs here, this is an unopened one. So you can see we are pretty much right at exactly 5 quarts, maybe just a hair over, that we pulled out of the transmission there. So I think what I'm going to try and do, we'll just try and add maybe 4 to 4.5 quarts. We'll start out with that, and then we'll go ahead and check our reading. So the fluid I'm going to be using is just the genuine OEM Motorcraft Mercon LV transmission fluid. Got this off Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. And this is 5 quarts. I actually got 2 of these because I wasn't sure. So we'll go ahead and see how much we need, and then I'll use a large funnel to fill it with. So then we'll go ahead and pull this out the rest of the way. And like I said, I just got this super long funnel here just to kind of reach down in the hole there. So then go ahead and take your new fluid. Like I said, I'm going to start it with maybe just a little over 4, and then we'll kind of go from there. So go ahead and pour this down in there. So you can see right about there, that's pretty much right at 4 quarts. So I'm going to start out there, and we'll see what it looks like. So then you get your fluid or your funnel out of here. And then go ahead and get your dipstick back in here. And if you note, you can see right here, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a black arrow, little arrow right there. So when you get this in here, you want it to, it goes in about like that, and then it pushes down in, and then you turn it and it locks into place, so that arrow lines up with that arrow. So now we'll go ahead and start it. And then what I'm going to do is come over here to your gear shifter, and we'll go ahead and put it in reverse. And I usually just let that sit for a few seconds here. Then we'll go into neutral. Down into drive. And then down into sports mode. Back up into drive. Neutral. Reverse. Back in the park. And then I'll go ahead and do this one more time really quick. And then back in the park there. If you take a look at our temp there, we're starting to climb a little bit on the temperature. But let's go ahead and leave this running, and let's go check our level. So now we'll go ahead and check our level. So go ahead and pull this dipstick out of there. Go ahead and wipe it off. Stick it back down in there. Lock it, and then pull it back out. And let's see where we're at. And if you take a look here, if I can get it to zoom in, you can see we're not showing at all. Maybe just a hair on the bottom, so let's go ahead and add some more. me go ahead and reposition my camera. So I'll go ahead and let that sit and drain down into the transmission. Probably about a good 3 minutes or so, and then we'll recheck our level. Okay, so I let that drain. Let's go ahead and pull this out and check. And it's kind of hard to see here, but it's still not really showing much on here. Let me just recheck this. So if you take a look here, yeah, it's still not showing. Barely on the end there, so let's go ahead and add some more. So again, I went ahead and let that drain down in there. Let's recheck. Now, as you can see, we're actually reading right in the middle. It looks like some of this is residue from it still draining down in there. Let's go ahead and recheck here. If you take a look, so yeah, we are right just about in the middle of the crosshairs, I'd say. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and take this for a drive. We'll get it really up to temp here, and then I'll pull back in the garage here and we'll check and see where our level's at and see if we need to add any more at full temp. Because what happens is, as the transmission warms up, the fluid expands and it'll climb up to the max line here. So that's why you always want to check this hot. And then one last thing you want to do is just crawl underneath here. Just make sure you're not leaking from your drain plug before you take off. That looks good. Alright guys, so I went ahead and took this for a little bit of a drive. Went through all the gears and everything, got it up to temp. You can see our temperatures up there now. And let's go ahead and check our level now. Okay, so let's go ahead and check our level. Just be sure it's really hot now. Make sure you don't burn yourself. Go ahead and pull this out. Give it a good wipe down. Stick it back down in there. Lock it in place. Pull it out. And if you take a look here, you can see, so on this side, it looks like we're right at the top of the crosshairs there. If you flip it around here, it's kind of hard to tell because it looks like it leaked onto the rag here. So let me recheck that. If you take a look here, you can see we are right at the top of the crosshairs there. It's pretty much on both sides. So let me just go ahead and make sure, which is right where we want to be. So again, camera will focus. can see the reflection of it. So we are right there, right at the top of the crosshairs. So I'm gonna call that good right there. And you can go ahead and shut it off. Okay guys, so really quick here, I just want to show you how much fluid I ended up using. So this was the 5-quart jug, and there's still just a little bit left. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a dark tint down there. So almost 5 quarts, just shy of it is what I ended up using. And if I take this cap off here, you can see there's still a little bit left in there. So like I said, just shy of 5 quarts is what I ended up using. So if you use this method the way I did, starting out cold, you should be fine just buying one of these 5-quart jugs to do this job. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for the video. Again, this was a 2014 Ford Edge Sport with a 3.7 liter. Went ahead and replaced the transmission fluid. Pretty simple job to do on these, especially because all you got to do is pretty much drain and refill it, and then they still have a dipstick for this, which makes it nice to do. And I'll go ahead and just monitor this level for the next couple of days just to make sure, and then if I need to add any, I'll add some. But looks like we're good for now, and hopefully this video helps you out. If it does, why don't you subscribe to the channel, check out all my other videos, send me a super thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.